Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Hood Table. This is your girl Tanya for some mid Monday hood news that you could use. Please make sure you like the video and share the video, and please subscribe to the Hood Table on YouTube, Facebook, IG, Twitter, and we also have a website, thehoodtable.com, where you can receive our monthly newsletters and also find the links to our merchandise to get your The Hood Table gear. Now, first thing we're going to start off with for news that you can use, we're going to discuss David Mitchell, who is a city council candidate for 2021 for District Number 2. Now, as most of you have already known, David had been arrested back in September, around September 15th of this year, and he was arrested for charges of sexual assault against a teenager. Now, at that time, they had put a $1 million bond on his head for that particular case. Now, about a week ago, he was released from jail. The bond was reduced to $300,000, and he got out with a $30,000 payment to get out on that bond. Now, just a recap, because we did cover this story about a couple of months ago when it first happened. David Mitchell, who is 27 years old, is accused of sexually assaulting a minor girl twice in 2014 when he was 21, according to court documents. Those are the allegations against him. Now, at that time, when we were covering the story, there was a post on his Facebook page after he was booked into jail saying these charges are 100% false. The system is finding any way to take me down. I can't make any comments on the current case for legal reasons. Now, Mitchell, if some of you can recall, he was one of the leaders of the protest for the Leavenworth Cafe in Omaha this past summer over a controversial Facebook post written by the owner's son. And him, along with other protesters, also objected to a menu item named for Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Now, the cafe later closed because of the protest due to them saying they were threats. Employees were scared to come and go from the restaurants. They were claiming employees were threatened. The owners were threatened. And so eventually the Leavenworth Cafe did close. And in response to that, a lot of other people in the community were angry regarding that. Even Jean Stothard, she had said that she was going to request an investigation to find out why the cafe decided to close. But that just gives you a little recollection of who David Mitchell is, if some of you guys didn't already know. Now, according to David Mitchell, these allegations are false and that he is innocent. And he does have a lot of support in the community, but then there are some people who are skeptical of him because of the fact that, well, you know how it goes sometimes when somebody says somebody assaulted them or raped them. People tend to want to believe the victim or the person who's alleging the crime. But it was also said in the paper back in September that a couple of weeks before David was arrested, he had met with the young lady who she's no longer a teenager now. She's now a young lady. And they said allegedly he had met with her a couple of weeks before he got arrested at a hotel in Bellevue. So somebody in his chat, when David had went live last week, giving his response to being arrested and incarcerated and having these charges put upon him, somebody in his chat has said, well, could you please explain why they're saying that you met with this young lady a couple of weeks before you were arrested if you guys didn't have any kind of relationship? Now, to that, there are other people who was in his chat who was saying, you know what, you shouldn't believe everything that's going on right now just because somebody makes some allegations. You know how it is. Just because somebody makes some allegations does not necessarily mean they are true. And to that, in his chat on his Facebook Live, someone did say, don't no one care about what you are saying. Explain how you innocent for sexually assaulting a girl whose IQ isn't even high enough to consent. Now, They probably, missed a few words in that comment, but you get what they're saying. They were saying, don't nobody care about what you're saying. Explain how you are saying you're innocent for sexually assaulting a girl whose IQ isn't even high enough to consent. Now, there was a lot of backlash for the person who did make that comment, saying things like, "Are you a licensed therapist? If not, shut the hell up." And then they responded, the point is a low IQ is not a physical disability, and they are allegations, not proof. And then, the person to that, he said, well, keep defending someone who's out on bond for sexually assaulting a minor. Hopefully you never have kids. So, again, there are people supporting him, and there are also people, who are speculating if he really did it, if he didn't. We did do a live show last night on this, on the latest updates about David's response to the allegations and the charges and being locked up, and the very high, well, as he claims, excessively high bond amount, which came down from 1 million down to 300,000. Again, he bonded out for $30,000. Now, one thing that David did mention, as far as the allegations, when he was live on Facebook last week, um, he said something about he was put in protective custody due to the fact that he played a large part in the Leavenworth Cafe protest. Now, during his Facebook Live, Mitchell also mentioned how he feels, as well as a lot of other people, that it was such a coincidence, the way he was arrested. Like, he was arrested during a city council meeting. That was also the same day that Jake Gardner was indicted for the death of James Scurlock. Now, people in our community have been protesting for a while for Jake Gardner to be arrested on charges dealing with the death of James Scurlock, and protesting, having rallies and whatnot. And so the same day Mitchell was arrested, Jake Gardner, the grand jury had issued an indictment for manslaughter, use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony, attempted first degree assault, and terroristic threats. The indictment came several months after County Attorney Don Klein initially agreed with Gardner that he had shot Scurlock, who was 22 years old, in self-defense, and they freed him from any charges. Now that murder happened during the George Floyd protest this past summer in Omaha, Nebraska. And a lot of people again have been protesting and having rallies, that Don Klein have a grand jury investigate, and basically the grand jury came back with indictments. So the day that Mitchell was arrested, Jake was indicted, and people were saying, is that a coincidence? Like, we really wanted him to be brought up on charges. And then one of the biggest one of the most okay, let me say one of the most vocal was arrested at the same time. Now, I'm not taking away, like I said last night in our show, I'm not taking away from the allegations from the alleged victim. I'm not going to say, oh, I know he did it. Oh, I know he didn't do it. I don't really know him all that well. We're just, giving commentary off of what we are being provided by the media and by Mitchell himself. But to some, again, it is a coincidence. And to that, Mitchell also said, how can somebody say F you to the cops and to County Attorney Don Klein, who a lot of people feel needs to resign, but then some people believe what they have to say about him regarding these allegations on assault. So again, there are people who are supporting Mitchell. There are some people who are speculating, did he do this? Did he not do this? But in the meantime and in between time, until we receive further information, we can't be, too critical on this man, because we all know some people could be brought up on charges and then they can be found innocent. And one last thing I have to say about this case with David Mitchell, he did say in his Facebook Live that, during the case, during the trial, he welcomes anybody to come sit in at the trial because he promises to be transparent. So, anybody who wants to go down to the trial when the trial happens and sit down and hear what everything people got to say, the prosecutors, the defenders, he welcomes you because, again, he claims that he is innocent. Now, moving right along to our next hood news. The other day, Omaha police were seeking information into the death of a man early Sunday morning. Officers were originally called to the area of 38th and Grant Street for a shooting. While they were there, they found the body of a 30-year-old Loyal Brown III. Now, in this picture, we see Loyal on the left. That is the man identified as the homicide victim. And then to the right are the people who were arrested for the homicide. Police have arrested three people in connection with the deadly shooting on Sunday. They arrested Prentice C. Reddick, 33 years old, which is the man out of the three people on the left. He was arrested and booked into Douglas County Correction for one count of criminal homicide. The next person, Shaquia Pettiford, who is 26 years old, was arrested and booked into Douglas County Corrections for one count of accessory to criminal homicide. And the last lady, Thea Pettiford, who is 46 years old, was arrested and booked into Douglas County Corrections for one count of accessory to criminal homicide. Now, the police are saying that a 30-year-old man was found dead following a shooting near 39th Street at around 3:11 a.m. on Sunday. Officers again were called to the area of 39th and Grant Street where they discovered the body of 30-year-old Loyal Brown III. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with more information is encouraged to contact Omaha Crime Stoppers at 444-STOP. That is area code 402-444-7867. Again, 402-444-STOP. If you have any more information, the police do encourage you to contact Omaha Crime Stoppers. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to our own hometown from Omaha, Nebraska, from the hood, Terrence Bud Crawford. Another win for the boxer, Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, this past weekend, a lot of you were tuned in to the fight, Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook fight, which resulted in a TKO in the fourth round of the fight. Now, one thing that Terrence had mentioned during the fight was that he was trying to gauge the distance and was trying to find his rhythm in between getting his distance together. He said that's why it was so competitive early on. He couldn't get his shots off early in the fight. A lot of people had mentioned on Facebook, why is the fight moving kind of slow? Why does it seem like he's making the punches? Why is they were had a lot to say about that, but although the his competitor Brooks has said, prior to the fight, that he's the biggest person that Terrence ever fought. His reach is longer, he's taller, all these kind of other things. He says Terrence has never fought no one as big as him. So I guess he just assumed that he had it in the bag, but he didn't have it in the bag. Now Crawford, who had won 37 fights, 0 losses, 28 knockouts. They said he overcame a slow start by making the calculated adjustments to move southpaw. From there, he went on to dismantle former 147-pound title holder Kell Brook on Saturday, and again a fourth round TKO inside the MGM Grand Conference Center in Las Vegas. Now, we sat home and we watched that fight, and I had mentioned to my son, I was actually live during the fight doing commentary on the fight, and I had mentioned to my son that he was being very calculated. I was like, all his moves, his steps, his punches, everything is being very calculated, and the media agreed with what I was saying. But anyway, shout out to Terrence Crawford. He is from my hometown. He is from our hood of Omaha, Nebraska. Still undefeated. Another one bites the dust. Hey, go Crawford. Go Bud. Go Crawford. Go Bud. So y'all, join me in giving him his kudos. Still undefeated and repping North Omaha, Nebraska. And on that note, everybody, once again, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and share the video. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Hood Table on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, IG, and don't forget we do have a website, thehoodtable.com, where you can sign up for our monthly newsletters as well as find a link to our merchandise on the Hood Table website. Please continue to support. Thank you to those who have always supported us from the very beginning and still support us, and to all our new supporters, our new subscribers. We do appreciate you. We appreciate all the cash apps, the super chats, and also we do appreciate how a lot of people send us links and send us stories that they think we could use on the Hood Table website and on the Hood Table YouTube channel. We appreciate all of you guys. Stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.